So I think that there's a few factors to go off of, and like the personal responsibility to me is about the individual being given the right to make a decision over what they want to
Yeah,
do. So that you can't legislate. That's the whole point about personal responsibility. You can't legislate for common sense. You can't legislate for what people are going to believe that their personal responsibility is. And the thing with people's interpretation of the rules or how the different rules make people feel, there are many people that will get massive anxiety over the fact that people won't be wearing masks in public anymore. They won't have to wear masks in public anymore. So that kind of thing works both ways. To me, the point of the vaccine program and the point of vaccinations was that we weren't going to have to follow these rules anymore. Once the vaccination level, the vaccination rate passed a certain threshold, we were told restrictions are going to be lifted. That's the whole point of being vaccinated. I will still wear a mask in certain situations. I've had my first jab. I'm Moderna'd up. Feel great. It's fantastic. Everybody should get their jab. I will still wear my mask in certain situations because in the past year and a half, and I have been out in public a decent amount, probably more than a lot of people have. I haven't been ill once. It's been great for me, in terms
yeah,
of like not catching stuff on public transport or in crowds. I
You
will
mean
still
like
wear
the
my
common
mask.
cold as well? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
precisely. Yeah, I will continue to wear a mask in certain situations. I'm not going to wear it everywhere. I'm not going to wear it in most places where there's open air. Um, but in shops, out of respect, and for my own personal health, and on public transport as well, I will continue to wear a mask. That is my personal responsibility. That is my personal choice. I don't think that you can put if you're going to say we're not going to legislate anymore. I don't think you can put pressure on people
yeah,
to go either way. Either shame people for wearing masks or shame people for not wearing masks. It's about that personal choice. As long as people have had their
yeah.
vaccine. Perhaps if people haven't had their vaccine, we come across a different conversation. But again, like and as you were saying, Casey, I think you were completely right in the government's messaging. If they would have said from the start, which is what I think that they probably should have done, is just being honest and said, look, we need to mandate for masks because the science is fairly clear in that social distancing and wearing a mask is going to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. We don't know how long that's going to be for. We're going to continually update you on the research. We're going to continually update you on our decision making process. But we can't sit here and say that in 3 weeks we're going to lift these restrictions because we don't know. People
Yeah.
would have gone, fair enough. It's frustrating, but we're in an unprecedented situation. As long as they keep updating us, as long as they keep, looking at the science and reviewing the policy, that's fine. People would have been
Yeah.
okay with that, I think. But when you tell people in 3 weeks, we'll lift these restrictions, and then you don't, or you do for 2 months, and then you go back on that decision and you impose stricter restrictions, that's when people start to get pissed off. That's when people start to get frustrated. That's when people stop following the rules and go, actually, they're not doing it because we can see loads of videos and loads of pictures of government ministers or whatever not following the restrictions. Why the hell have we got to do it? And that's when you start to lose people, and that's the thing that's
Yeah.
the most frustrating for me, I think.
I think masks do work. That's obviously, everybody agrees that masks work. I think the debate often when they were mandated, to go from the door of a restaurant literally
Yeah.
10 steps down to a table, is to keep it because again, you're touching it, you don't thinking that's often more harm than good than just walking 10 steps to a table because you're touching a mask and you're not washing your hands and therefore potentially spreading it. But contrary to these crazy people, masks do work. But, for example, I think what they're doing in the CDC, they recommended, so if you've had your vaccine, a certain amount of time has passed since you've been double vaccinated, you've completed your course, you don't have to wear a mask. I had my second vaccine about a month ago. Yes, I had my second vaccine about a month ago. I've had the thing before. I'm not going to wear a mask. It doesn't particularly make me feel comfortable. And I never noticed, for example, sometimes my skin is not being as good, and it's for some people as well. It is a confidence thing as well. You see people now saying, "Oh, I'm going to wear it." If I've got spots and things like that, perfectly fine. You want to wear it if you've got spots, go ahead. But I just don't think it's necessarily needed to be mandated for everybody because I think the CDC has sort of got the right line here. If some time has passed since your second vaccine or since Johnson & Johnson one dose, since you've completed your course, you don't have to wear a mask. Obviously, as you've seen, like President Biden, Vice President Harris, they've stopped wearing their masks indoors because they've completed their things.
Point
but they
of the
wore
vaccine.
it right. Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Because we were told as soon as we have our vaccine, enough people are vaccinated, the vulnerable are vaccinated, restrictions don't need, restrictions can go, and that included face masks. And we've gone well above that. We've got well above, I think, is it above 70% or something like that now? I think at least had one dose.
First dose, yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I think, and then they're saying about 2/3 of adults will have 2 doses by Monday, and that's well above the vulnerable that they said would be needed for us to remove restrictions, including face masks. And I think, people are often framed as being crazy or and not believing in the virus if they don't want masks and they don't want restrictions. But a lot of people, is the people at home who don't want restrictions, don't want masks, but they believe in the virus. And then you see these crazy people in London who are anti-virus, anti-vax, and don't believe in it, and they kind of give everybody a bad name when a lot of people don't want the restriction.
Yeah, and I think
they're not anti-vax. I've seen these people in London like going past and shouting at people for wearing masks.
Yeah, Brad, a lovely. Brett, you can tell everybody about your lovely encounters with people with the anti-vaxxers in London. I mean, I just want the thing about the vaccine and then continuing the mask mandate is that, but if you follow that logic, you would never not have a mask mandate, because there will always be the risk of people catching and dying from coronavirus. They always will, unfortunately. So then the mask mandate stays forever. So we're left in this sort of limbo state. The whole point of the vaccine was that once enough people have been vaccinated, we reach that threshold, restrictions will be lifted, and we can get back to life as normal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I mean, I kind of hate this phrase because I think it's been, like you were saying, co-opted by people who believe that the virus isn't a thing. But we do have to kind of figure out a way to live with the virus, protect people that are vulnerable, ensure that the NHS can look after those people, ensure that the NHS can deal with other illnesses that have been kind of neglected, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, and start to kind of move forward and build back, to use the government's own phrasing. Sorry. Yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, I know. Not that I think they will, but that is what we should be trying to do.